What's happening, Facebook and YouTube? How you doing? Good Sunday afternoon. I am your sports guy, Kendrick. I hope you all are having a great weekend. Almost the end. It's almost that time to get back to work on Monday. But again, I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. You are watching TFG Sports Media, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. Again, I hope you all are having a good start, good weekend, by the way. So again, make sure you come in. You know the house rules. Come in, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channels if you haven't already. That is TFG Sports Media on YouTube, as well as Kendrick Sports also. That's SporTZ on YouTube. Make sure you like and follow them both on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969, as well as on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson51, which I am live on TikTok as well. So if you see me turning my head like I'm watching the tennis match, I'm bouncing back and forth. I got a lot of people popping in on TikTok over here. King David, the anointed one, appreciate that. I love your handle. Cindy Shepardson, thank you for popping in. Make sure y'all tap that screen, hit that follow button as well on TikTok. So again, here, those that's watching me on YouTube, if you would like to contribute to the channel, there's a little thank you button. You can, if you want to help me continue to build the platform, you can contribute there as well. You're not obligated. I would love to have your subscription. Just subscribe. That's free. You ain't got to pay nothing. If you haven't already, subscribe to TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's free. But on YouTube, you can actually contribute to the channel, and it will definitely go back into me putting that investment back into myself and helping build this sports channel. And you also can hit my Cash App, which is shown right there. That is $1969. Kendrick, if you would like to contribute, you're not obligated, but if you would like to, I wanted to give you that offer. So again, you know the house rules. Make sure you come in, like, comment. Let me know where you're watching from so we can have a conversation. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. We're going to jump into our first segment. And I hate to start the show off with sad news, but, you know, this is started trending about 2 hours ago. Former Baltimore Raven and Houston Texan wide receiver Jacoby Jones, he was found dead in his home in Houston on last night, according to reports from the USA Today and other media outlets. And he was only 40 years old. Now, if you recall, Jacoby Jones made a name for himself with the Ravens in Super Bowl 47 when he returned a second half kickoff for 108 yards, which is the longest kickoff return in Super Bowl history. And he also scored on a receiving touchdown, 53 yards. So he is the first player ever in Super Bowl history to score on a kickoff return and have a touchdown reception in the same game in the Super Bowl. So again, it is a sad day for Baltimore Ravens fans, for Houston Texans fans. He also played a little bit for the Steelers at the end of his career, as well as the Chargers. He went to Lane College. The last thing that I was able to find, that he was a wide receivers coach at Alabama State, which is a HBCU. And then just this past April, he had accepted a position to be the head coach and offensive coordinator for the Beaumont Renegades, which was going to be an indoor football expansion team, and that they were going to be set to begin play in 2025. So again, this started trending about a couple of hours ago. Former Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Jacoby Jones passed away at the age of 40 in his sleep in his home in Houston. Now, none of that has been confirmed. Don't know the cause of his death yet. I'm sure that will be released later on. So we're sending our condolences out to the Jones family, to the Baltimore Ravens family. There's been a ton of tributes to Jacoby Jones on social media from his former teammates, Ray Lewis, even head coach Mike Tomlin, who he played briefly for, his head coach with the Ravens, John Harbaugh, all those, and even JJ Watt, who Jacoby played with in Houston, also had a tribute on there. So again, sending condolences out to the Jones family, the Ravens family, and the Texans family, as well as the NFL family. Also got to mention Monty Kiffin. I think the longtime defensive coordinator and assistant coach in the NFL. He passed away this week. I think he was 89. If you don't know who Monty Kiffin is, he is the mastermind behind the Tampa Bay defense that won the Super Bowl under not under Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy built the team, eventually John Gruden would take over and they would win the team. But Monty Kiffin was the mastermind behind the Tampa 2 defense. And he is the father of Lane Kiffin, who is the head coach at Ole Miss. So we want to send our condolences out to the Kiffin family as well as the Buccaneers family, the NF family as well. Monty Kiffin was one of those great assistant coaches, and he did it well. So let's move on to our second segment. We're going to stay with wide receivers. Let's talk about CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys wide receiver. He was in the news this week. He basically said he had a youth football camp in 2 different cities in Texas. I believe one was going to be in Richmond. I think the other in Round Rock. And he told any media members that was going to cover it, don't come out here asking me about my contract because I ain't talking about it. He said, this is all about the kids. Well, the reason is because these wide receivers are getting PAID, paid. And CeeDee Lamb is in his, I think he's in his last year of his rookie deal, which he'll make, I'm saying only, but $17.99 million this year. Well, the reason is he's looking for an extension in a new deal because, again, like I said, all the wide receivers are getting paid. Speaking of which, Vikings receiver Justin Jefferson just reset the whole market about a month or 2 ago when he signed his new deal, 4 years, $140 million. I believe 110 of that is guaranteed, which makes him the highest paid wide receiver ever in the history of the NFL. So CeeDee Lamb now is looking like, hey, I'm coming off my best season. He led the league in receptions with 135. He had 1,749 yards receiving and 12 touchdowns last season. So he's coming off as the number 1 target of Dak Prescott, who, by the way, has his own contract issues. The Cowboys are kind of they putting themselves backing themselves in the corner with these players' contracts. But CeeDee Lamb says, you know what? This is, I want to get that extension. And I get it because we all know that today's prices won't be tomorrow's. So the Cowboys got to figure this out. Because if they don't do it today, you best believe they're gonna pay more later on. Because they got some other guys they got to take care of. They got Michael Parsons that's coming up. They're going to have to figure out how they're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with that. Are they going to give him an extension or what? Or are they going to let him become an unrestricted free agent next summer? So that is kind of what Cowboys are in a conundrum, as they normally are when it comes to their salary cap. Now, the thing is, the Cowboys have a little bit of leverage on Lamb. They can franchise tag him. So he could be franchise tagged after this year, even though he wants that long-term extension. And see, at the end of the day, these NFL players, they looking for that security. Franchise tag is all well and good for 1 year, but that's just for 1 year. So the Cowboys they got leverage on CeeDee to say, hey, look, we can franchise tag him. If he doesn't come, he's already accumulated some fines already because he didn't attend the mini camp in June. He hadn't participated in none of the offseason team activities. And there's word on the street that he will not attend Cowboys training camp, which starts July the 24th in Oxnard, California. So if he continues to start missing training camp days, that's some more money he's going to be out of. Again, he's only going to make $17.99 million this year. And speaking of the wide receivers, the highest paid I just mentioned just a minute ago, Justin Jefferson is at $35 million. The top 10 wide receivers, here they are. Number 1, Justin Jefferson, $35 million. Number 2, A.J. Brown, the Eagles, $32 million. Number 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions at $30.09 million. Number 4, Tyreek Hill with the Dolphins, $30 million. Number 5, the Dolphins, Jalen Waddle makes $28.25 million. Number 6, Raiders, Devontae Adams at $28 million. Number 7, Cooper Kupp with the Rams, $26.7 million. As well at number 8, Devontae Smith with the Eagles, $25 million. And number 9, Nico Collins with the Texans, $24.25 million. And number 10, DK Metcalf with the Seattle Seahawks, $24 million. So those are your top 10 paid wide receivers in the NFL. And CeeDee Lamb is looking to get between 30 and 35 mil a year. That's where it's going to start. So again, the Cowboys got an issue. again, the what today's prices ain't gonna be tomorrow. So yeah, they can go ahead and use their franchise tag on him after this season if they want to. But eventually down the line, they're gonna probably eventually pay more than they probably would have if they work out an extension now. Again, this happened with them with Dak. If they would have paid Dak and that what it gave him an extension in his 4th year instead of letting him play out his rookie contract, they probably would have got him at a much cheaper rate. But again, that is the NFL business. So we're going to keep our eye on this story. Cowboys wide receiver again, CeeDee Lamb says he's not talking about his contract. He's probably not going to show up to Dallas Cowboys training camp, again, which starts on July 24th in Oxnard, California. And so he's going to continue accumulating those fines. And speaking of wide receivers, I don't know if you guys have checked it out. It's a really good series on Netflix called Wide Receivers, by the way. You know, they did quarterback a couple of months ago. They did the wide receivers. I actually binge watched it on Friday. It's like 6 or 7 episodes, and it's focusing on Devontae Adams of the Raiders, Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle of the 49ers, and Justin Jefferson of the Vikings. And it is a really good series. So if you're looking for something to binge watch, if you like the NFL, I'm an NFL guy. I'm more of a sports documentary series type cat. If you're looking for something to watch on there, go check out Wide Receivers. It was pretty damn good. And also another one that you can check out is called Sprint on Netflix. It's kind of showing some behind the scenes behind some of the USA and the Jamaican track stars in the 2023 season leading up to the World Championships. So those are a couple of sports things that you can check out if you would like to on Netflix. Now let's move on to our second segment. Let's talk about Mr. Stephen A. Smith. He stays trendy. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with the issue between him and the legendary rapper Willie D of the Ghetto Boys, as well as Stephen A. been going at it with quite a few people in the media. The YouTube content creators, I'll have to say, if you're on YouTube, there's quite a few content creators. They can't keep Stephen A. Smith's name out their mouth. They always find a way to produce a segment on him. Me personally, I only try to produce something when I think it's something that most people would be interested in, might be trending, something big. Well, Stephen A. Smith is his contract is up with ESPN in July of next year. And right now they are in contract negotiations where an anonymous production worker that works on ESPN's First Take. If you don't know, Stephen A. Smith is the executive producer of that show. He and Shannon Sharp, who has been his co-host now it'll be a year in September. This anonymous worker said that it is unbearable now to come to work at First Take because of Stephen A. and his contract situation. Now, you can read in that to what you will. Anytime somebody, they make statements to media outlets and they say anonymous, me personally, I kind of take whatever that anonymous source is saying with a grain of salt, because, if you don't want to identify yourself, why am I supposed to believe what you're telling a media outlet? But according to this worker, that it is unpleasant. Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp are like a two-man wrecking crew. Now, it's hard for me to believe that Shannon Sharp is in the mix with that, but this worker saying that they come in and they're making life pretty difficult for everyone, as far as the production staff. Now, I worked in the television industry 25 plus years. I started out working in the production, i.e. a camera operator, floor director. I started that. I eventually moved up to being a television news sports videographer. That's what I ended up doing more so. But I worked on a production staff. And I can say that the talent sometimes can be difficult. I personally haven't had that issue. I worked in television news, so I didn't work on a big scale like this. I worked in television news. So, but anchors and personalities, they can be divas and they can have egos. I have seen it with my own two eyes a couple of times. So on the outside looking in, I can honestly say probably working with Stephen A. Smith, and I could be totally off base, probably working with him probably can be a pain in the ass because he comes across as that, being very arrogant, being very boisterous. He's the kind of cat that seems like he don't believe that he's ever wrong about anything. So Is there probably some truth to what this anonymous worker is saying? Probably is just a little bit, but then that's only one side of the story. You know how it is. There's always three sides. It's his side, her side, or his side, and the truth falls somewhere in the middle. So we don't know about that. But again, he is in contract negotiations right now. He's one. He's one to be the highest paid ESPN sports personality, and in my mind, I think he should be. Regardless of what you think about Stephen A. He brings eyeballs to ESPN. He is the face of the network. He does more than one thing. He does more than Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. He does more than Pat McAfee. He does more than I'm just trying to think of the faces. Scott Van Pelt. He does more than Mike Greenberg. He does a little bit more. So, and plus he got his own YouTube channel now. He does some. He got a production company, he executive produces stuff. So he does a lot. So is he? See, here's the thing: is he worth 100 million? And here's my saying: I always said that your worth is worth what anybody is willing to pay you. We can sit here and say, well, I wouldn't pay him that. He's not worth that. Well, I always say I'm worth whatever that I negotiate. If I negotiate that with someone, then that's what I'm worth. So should he be paid 100 million? He wants 25 million a year. I say, yeah. I don't think ESPN really have a choice, because I think if they let him walk, that's going to be a big revenue dip for that company. And we know ESPN has been through a lot of cuts lately as far as talent. I mean, they're down to the bare minimum when you think of it. So they should have a little money to re-up him. So, you can say what you want about Stephen A. Will he get this money? I think he will. Again, his contract isn't up until July of 2025. Right now, they're still doing some negotiation. But also, I think ESPN has kind of put themselves in a position where, just in case these negotiations break down, we got Shannon Sharp signed to a multi-year deal, and they just move him into that slot, and there you go. There you have it. So I'd like to know what you guys think about this Stephen A. Smith $100 million contract and these rumors of he's been made it difficult. He and Shannon has made it difficult to work with on the First Take. I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Make sure you leave it in the comments. I'd like to know what you think about that, and we'll talk about that later. So let's move on to our third. We moving through this show pretty quick. Let's move into our third and last segment, pretty much. We're talking about Team USA. Team USA, the men's basketball team. They're getting ready for Paris. They started practices last week. Right now, Kevin Durant, I think, is nursing a calf strain. He hasn't played at all, and I read a headline that said that he may not play it at all in these Olympics. So that would be a big loss if that happens. Well, they've already lost Kawhi Leonard. He decided to withdraw a couple of days ago from the team. He has been working out a little bit, but he's still having issues with that right knee. And I call Kawhi Leonard Mr. Unavailable, because he's been unavailable more than he's been available, especially since he's been with the Clippers the last 4 seasons. I actually went back just to see how many games has he played in 4 seasons. In the last 4 seasons, out of a possible 328 regular season games in 4 seasons with the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard has played in 172 games since 2020, 2021. That's roughly a little over half of the games he have been available for the Clippers in 4 seasons. That just ain't gonna get it done. I just think if you're not available, then how can we win? Especially if you're our best player. Now without Paul George, as far as the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard is you got to make sure he's ready. So now we got to do all this load management. But back to the Team USA. But Kawhi Leonard again decided to withdraw. Grant Hill will put out a statement on this. Grant Hill is like the president of U.S. basketball, where he has a major influence on building the team. He actually is the one that's sort of got his hands in there along with a committee that actually builds the USA men's basketball team. He said that, quite frankly, he and the Clippers, brass, Lawrence Frank, as well, I'm sure Lawrence Frank, Steve Ballmer, and Tyronn Lue, they all were probably in on this conversation. They sat and just felt like that. No, as much as Kawhi was really trying to give it a go physically, he just didn't look right. That they feel like he would jeopardize his comeback if he had to play in this Olympics. Again, Olympic play, I believe, starts at the end of the month. So Grant Hill said, with his experience with injuries, which we know Grant Hill was that guy before he started having all those injuries. He said he's been in that position before. He knows. He says, I know when your mind wants to do something, your mind is really into it, but your body just ain't responding. He said he saw that with Kawhi, and he said he just felt like it would have been in his best interest, that is Kawhi, to withdraw. And they brought on Derek White from the world champion Celtics. Well, NBA champions. They not world champions. I'm gonna say NBA champions because Noah Lyles made and I'm kind of all over the place now. Noah Lyles made a great point. He's the men's track star, talking about how you the world champs, but you're not playing against the world. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That was a conversation months ago. But yeah, so they brought in Derek White from the NBA champs Boston Celtics to replace Kawhi Leonard. And everybody was begging the question, and me personally, I'm like, why Derek? And this is no diss of Derek White at all, but why not Jaylen Brown, the conference, the finals MVP and the Eastern Conference Finals MVP? Why wouldn't you replace him? Why wouldn't Jaylen Brown be the guy that you bring in outside of, again, it's just no shade at Derek, but why not? I didn't understand that. So that's a question that nobody has answered. I hadn't seen anybody respond to why wasn't Jaylen Brown the replacement for Kawhi Leonard. But this team, they've already played one exhibition game against Canada, which they won. They look good defensively. Offensively, I think they're gonna take some. It's gonna need some time to adjust. But you're getting these guys together, especially the guys that played in the NBA Finals. The finals ended the middle of June. Then in 2 or 3 weeks, you getting this team assembled to try to practice in beginning of July. Then you got games starting up in a week or two. And I think it's going to take time for them to gel. And again, there's going to be some stiff competition for this USA men's team. I think Canada is definitely up. They're on the rise as well. You got Jamal Murray and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm sorry, I call him Shai all the time, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they both play for Canada. Canada got some talent, man, as well as some of these other teams. Argentina's going to be in the mix, I'm quite sure, as well. So the USA, it's not going to be a cakewalk. So they need all their men on deck to gel. Steve Kerr, who's the head coach, is trying to figure out his rotation, is using different combinations just to see which combination to go with. But not having Kawhi Leonard, is it a big loss for the team? Someone was in a comment and said that they thought it was a big loss for this USA men's team. Me personally, I really don't. Again, that goes back to availability. I think Kawhi Leonard is Mr. Unavailable. And I just think that not having him is not going to hurt this team that bad. Now, if Kevin Durant, this calf situation, if he doesn't get that fixed, then yeah, they're going to have to figure out how they're going to tweak their lineups and use different people. But I think this team would be all right. I think they penciled in for the gold. Obviously, they should win it. But I don't think this team is going to be a cakewalk. I don't think this team is going to have a cakewalk. I think they're going to get some challenges for sure. I say Team Canada. So what's next for Kawhi Leonard? Again, he's going to try to get himself ready and get his body ready for the upcoming NBA season. Again, it's just him now. Paul George left in free agency to sign with the Sixers. So this is Kawhi's team. I think it was Kawhi's team anyway, but now all eyes is going to be on him and that knee. Is that right knee going to ever be 100% again? I told a buddy of this mine the other day. No, I don't think his knee is ever going to be a 100%. I think at this point he's running on. He's got a lot of miles on that tire. Well, really, he doesn't have a lot. He has quite a few injured miles on it because he hasn't been available to play. So, Team USA decided to move on from Kawhi Leonard, and we'll see what happens with them. Again, Olympics I think starts around the 26th of July, I believe. I think July 26th again. So that's something we got to look forward to. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. You're watching TFG Sports Media, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. I want to thank all those that popped in, especially on TikTok. I see you. Make sure you tap that screen, share the live. I want to thank all that has joined me as well. Those that'll check this out later on TFG Sports Media on YouTube and Facebook, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you share this to all your social media platforms. So what is going to be my freestyle moment? You know, I really came on here and I really didn't know what I was going to talk about in the freestyle moment. You know, we got a lot going on in the sports world. Obviously, the Caitlin Clark and the Angel Reese thing, it's ebbs and flows. It goes and comes. I will say this: Angel Reese, her double streak has ended. I think it ended last night. I think she ended up getting 9 points and 11 rebounds. I think she had 15 double-doubles in a row, which was a WNBA record. But that has ended. We still got that. The WNBA All-Star game actually is going to be, I believe, July 20th. So we'll see Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark as teammates in that contest versus the WNBA All-Star. I think it's going to be the USA Women's All-Star as far as the Olympic team. I think that's who they're going to face. So we'll see them as teammates for the first time. So that's going to be something to look forward to. And this Rookie of the Year debate is definitely going to probably be really one that's going to be trending, because we already got nonsense in comments about who should be the Rookie of the Year, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That's going to be a polarizing discussion, and it already is. If I had to vote today, me personally, if I had a vote, I would vote for Angel Reese. I just think that her impact, what she's done, she's been consistent with what she's done on the floor. I think she's made an impact for a team, and I think Caitlin Clark has made an impact too. I just think that Angel Reese has just been a little bit more consistent. That would be my only thing. I think it's neck and neck right now. I think you got to look at where their teams fall as far as the rankings. Will, I think whichever team ends up with the best record or in the playoffs, most likely that's going to be the team that the rookie's going to win. That's probably going to be whoever team ends up with the best record. That's probably going to be the woman that wins Rookie of the Year. Again, it's up in the air right now. It's a toss-up between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Me personally, I would vote, if I was voting today, I would vote for Angel Reese. That's just my thoughts on that. So again, we're going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for dropping in on today. Again, I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. And again, we send our thoughts and prayers to all those in the Houston area. Hopefully everybody get their power on. I just got a text from my brother who's in the Houston area. He doesn't have power yet, as well as a lot of my family members. So, I'm praying for them to get their power on. And we also sending peace, love, and light to the Jacoby Jones family as well. That's shocking news. It's still trending all over the internet that he passed away at the young age of 40. And according to reports, he passed away in his sleep. So, again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. You can catch me here every Sunday, 4 o'clock p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch me live here, TFG Sports Media, as well as on Facebook and YouTube, as well as live on TikTok at Kendrick Henderson 51. Got something in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, I'll be able to have a special guest live from Dallas Cowboys training camp. That's right. My guy, KLTV Sports Director out of Tyler, Texas, Michael Coleman. He's getting ready to head out there. He and Arthur Claiborne to cover the Cowboys training camp, which starts July 24th. So hopefully I can do a show with him one day. I'll keep you posted. Want you to tune into that so we can talk about all things Dallas Cowboys. So again, I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Salute to you all. You all have a great rest of your Sunday and have a great start to your week. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.